Hello everyone, this is Marcel. Welcome to my channel. So for today I'm going to be discussing the concept of all women are like that. AWALT, I suppose the acronym is. So through my journey of making this channel, on almost every single video, I have someone who's trying to argue with the points that I come up with. Oh, well my girlfriend did this, or I know people that did that clearly disproves your experience with women, that it's just your perspective, Marcel, and not actually what is happening in society. I know so many examples, says the random person, that they are not like that. Women don't behave that way. I also get the occasional woman that comes along and says, oh, clearly your video is wrong because I don't behave in blank way. The fact that I lack that one behavioral trait of which you refer to at some point in your video means that I'm different from all the rest. So today I'm going to explain my perspective, my opinion on all women. Now see right there, someone's hair just stood up straight. Someone got triggered. I can already feel the rumbling from all of the clacking keyboards as they mount a defense. Isn't it amazing how many guys even will come rushing to the defense of the 99% because of the 1% example that differs from the claim? Well, without further ado, let us begin. So, let's define a few things. When I'm referring to a good or bad woman, or female behavior, if we want to put it that way, I suppose we could narrow it down for the sake of this discussion to the level of hypergamous behavior. Now, I don't want hypergamy to be kind of a catch-all for women the same way that patriarchy is for men. Sort of a generalized boogeyman bad thing that women do. But for the sake of this discussion, it is what I'm referring to. And in this context, it is a negative behavior. Now, whenever I get comments to the effect of, no Walt, not all women are like that, I always think to myself, women are like seawater. And in fact, I use this as a reply quite often. They're like seawater, in that you can say there are good women out there in the same way that there is fresh water in the sea. Amongst the millions of gallons and millions of women, there are good ones. So, grab a glass and take a drink. Maybe you won't get a big mouthful of salt. Now, what I'm getting at by that is that women will all carry a level of hypergamy, almost like a spectrum. Humor me in an analogy here. Let's say between a woman and an autistic person. Now, I kind of want to apologize and handle this carefully. I apologize to any autistic people that are offended by this comparison, as I'm not trying to be rude to anyone. But let's say that you have an autistic child. It is entirely possible for an autistic child to be raised and nurtured to a level where they'll be completely functioning in society as if they were never on a spectrum. It's possible with proper counseling and depending on the level of degree that they're afflicted when they're born, when they are raised, it may never come up at all. Then you take that same child in a separate scenario where they're raised on red food coloring and paint chips, and odds are they're going to express that condition in a much more pronounced way. It's going to be a lot more obvious, and they're not going to be functioning. Now, if you were to apply that to hypergamy in women, it is possible that a woman can be nurtured and given proper care and raised respectfully. Please note that I'm not referring to traditionally. I'm just saying good common sense, human to human respect, where you wouldn't shit on someone for no obvious reason just because they can. That it is possible for there to be a high functioning relationship, but that doesn't change the fact that the whole thing can go south at any minute, or the behavioral patterns that exist within it despite that high function. The sweetest, most charming, most respectful woman who's loving and caring, quotation marks here, can go completely hypergamous and destroy the man that she supposedly loves in an instant, given the right set of circumstances which are completely outside of his control. Think of the countless examples of where a woman has lost weight or has made more money or met someone of higher status, and despite decades of supposed love and dedication to a guy, has, almost effortlessly leaped onto the next guy without even a perceivable ounce of remorse. But I myself, the same as so many other MGTOW, don't hate, despise, or even dislike women because of that reason, that behavior. See, from their perspective, it's rational. It's the right decision at the time that they made it. So you can't hate them for it. It's just what they are. Let me try to give a good cross example of this. Say for a moment that a guy, yourself even, whoever's listening, walks up and sees a $100 bill sticking out of a woman's purse. I'm going to assume that the vast majority of you would not snatch up that $100 bill, right? I mean, maybe a few of you would. Some people would, I'm sure. But most people would not grab the $100 bill, right? Because that's obviously stealing. There's the risk of getting caught. There's the offended woman. Jail time, it could get really bad. But punishments aside, it's just the nature of the act is wrong. So let's change the scenario. Let's say the purse, you know who it belongs to, but the purse is sitting on the side of the road and that person isn't around. The $100 bill is still sticking out of it. Now, I'm still in the field of people that would return the purse with the money in it, but I think that more people might be willing to have the money not be in there when the person gets the purse, but maybe still turn it in, right? Here's all your IDs and things. But, that's just how I found it. Then let's take it a step further. You don't know the woman. You've never met her, but you know where to find her. Or further than that, it's not a purse. It's just the $100 bill laying on the ground. We could go further and further down, but at some point, everyone has a limit where they're going to say, I feel comfortable taking that money. Because there's a point where we all rationalize that it's acceptable to keep it. Whether it's not knowing the person personally, or not being able to get caught, or even just not wanting to make the effort to seek out those who lost it in the first place. Every single woman has a point. They have a limit within their relationships where they will justify hurting that man. For some, it may be as blunt and obvious as just literally seeing a better guy and walking away from him. She may not have any remorse whatsoever snatching that $100 bill away from the guy right in front of everyone, and she won't care. Though for most of them, it's going to be a point where they can rationalize it as an appropriate decision, where they remove their sense of guilt or remorse based upon the circumstances. Enough excuses, enough missed dates, enough forgotten birthdays, enough opportunities with a better guy where she feels comfortable, like there's no way of falling away from having any romantic interactions at all, where no matter what, she's going to be taken care of, she won't be alone. They have a limit, and it's entirely possible that a great deal of it has nothing to do with a negative behavior from the guy. Okay, so I did say forgotten birthdays. Nonetheless, when that woman, whoever she is, has the right set of situations pile up where she can justify it as the appropriate decision, even if everyone else looking at it would see it as still wrong, she's going to do it. And that all these supposedly good women that are, perfect girlfriends or the counter examples simply have not been in that circumstance yet. And I can claim that with the same level of confidence that I can say at some point, everybody's going to stick that $100 bill in their pocket. No right-minded person, guy, whatever, would throw that money in the trash can or willingly just give it away to a stranger because they didn't happen to earn it. And they'd be foolish to do so. It's better to stick the money in their pocket if there's a point where they can morally justify it, at least assuming that there's any actual logic involved. So I don't hold that behavior against women. I'm not expecting them to be held accountable. I don't think they ever will for how they treat the guys that they're in relationships with. But I'll be damned if I'm not going to point it out. I am here to tell the men of the world, metaphorically and kind of literally in a way, put your money away. Stop leaving it out on the counter. Don't let it hang out of your pocket, because eventually a woman's going to be able to justify just snatching it up. And in her mind, it's going to be doing the right thing, or at the least acting acceptably. Relationships, be it serious or otherwise, are ticking time bombs. And treating the woman better or trying harder doesn't guarantee anything, and in some cases can actually have the opposite effect. So put your money in a bank or a sock drawer, if you know what I mean. Invest in ourselves. That is the best way to guarantee that we're not royally taken advantage of. The only way. Anyhow, I hope that was interesting. Let me know down below if you agree, disagree, think I'm full of shit. I want to hear it. And if you want to hear more content, like, share, subscribe. I have started making music a little more consistently. So if you're interested in that, I'm still currently posting it in my Mirror channel. Though fairly soon, I'm probably going to open a music channel. But in the meantime, I'll put a link to my newest song right here and in the description down below. Matter of fact, here's a clip of it. Let me know what you guys think. Take care.